away quickly. That's Western Warrior in the black cap.
My mother hated to hear anything about horses or me talking about backing horses.
These three groupers, they now flash past the 7 and make their way down the backstretch.
She used to tell my father, don't give me my lunch money for the week until Sunday morning, because she knew if I got it Saturday morning, by Saturday evening I wouldn't have any. I got a proper walloping one Saturday as well.
Don Valley in between horses as they now go rushing into that turn.
So the radio is on and the race comes up. And I'm trying to be as calm as I possibly can listening to this race.
Pontius Pilate is 5 lengths off that lead and running in fourth. Dante racing on the rail, accompanied by...
And I jump up, go on, Scobell! And of course my mother hears me, oh, you buying horses? I've been hooked on horses from before I got the double figures.
We're high up in the Blue Mountains here, the hustle and bustle of Kingston and the harbour way down below us. And Kingston is where we've come to discover the story behind the bowler they call Whispering Death.
It's a lovely run, acceleration, and then that beautiful last 3 or 4 strides.
Very good runner. He used to come gliding in off a long run, and if you're at the non-strikers end, you had to keep on checking to see if he was coming, because you couldn't hear him.
And what a great delivery. A superb piece of bowling.
I see the love for the horses. It is mirrored in his run-off and his pace. You can see that.
There are some bowlers who are ugly, some who are beautiful, and this fella I think is magnificent.
You know, he was poetry, that nickname, Whispering Death. You couldn't hear him coming, but when he got there, you knew about it.
And he's bowled him, played on. A very, very good Yorker, that one.
Normally, there's a lot of great physical effort from a fast bowler. It has to be. Michael was so quiet. It was so smooth and easy. He was just a great bowler.
Oh, he's bowling. Beautiful ball. That's the wicket that West Indies wanted. Clean bowl by Michael Holding.
How do you describe yourself, as a Jamaican or a West Indian?
Well, I'm definitely a Jamaican first, but I like to consider myself a Caribbean person. When you talk about the West Indies, as you know, it's only a name that has been given because of West Indies cricket. We usually refer to us as Caribbean people, but ultimately I am a Jamaican. But cricket is what bonds the entire region together, the entire English-speaking region together. So I prefer to think of myself as a Caribbean person, but I would never give up my Jamaica passport. Well, this is a cricket ground that I played my first ever official cricket match. I used to live just behind that wall there, almost parallel to where that school is. That was my backyard where that black roof is. And we just walked down here, and the kids from the area, we all used to come down here and play. Hey.
Yeah,
what you say?
Well, I'm close.
Everything good?
Yeah, man. Mikey, we have fight a good fight around there.
I hear you.
Yeah.
It's an idyllic place, the Caribbean, a nice place to grow up.
Definitely. Absolutely brilliant place to grow up. As you can see others, no sweaters, no coats. You can be outside 365 days of the year.
Which you were. That was your childhood, really. A very outdoorsy, physical
Once it was
childhood.
Dark, your parents expected you to be back home by the time it got dark. But the first light, you're out. You were down here the entire day. You'd walk down Red Hills Road. There were a couple of shops down there. They'd go down there and hang around, get some lunch, meaning you'd buy a bun and cheese or something, a soft drink, come back and play your football or your cricket.
So you were using kind of cork with twine wrapped around?
And it was what we used to call cork and tar.
Yeah.
It's those balls that lasted longer than the leather balls. And they were red initially, but by the time you use them a few times, all the red was stripped, so they became black. So when it started to get a little bit dark, you could hardly see them.
And it was pretty much every man for himself, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You bowl, you get somebody out, you have a bat.
Yes, but you had to get them out by hitting the stumps. Because if somebody took a catch, the person who took the catch would bat. You didn't get a chance to bat.
It's quite a good grounding for a bowler. Hit the stumps, bowl straight.
Exactly. You bowl straight and you try and bowl fast because obviously you had no umpires. The guys had no pads either, no gloves, no pads. So if they stand in front of the stumps and you hit them on the legs, tough.
This was also where you played a kind of first
ever formal cricket
game.
match.
I think in your book you wrote that your sister went out to buy you a
pair of trousers.
She came back with some kind of fancy
dress pants. It wasn't a pair of cricket trousers. It was a shopping plaza up here called Tropical Plaza, and she went up there just into a store, got this pair of white pants. When they came back, I was the only one on the field with this fancy white pair of trousers because that's the only thing she could find. Because it was not until the morning of the game that the guys from the area came up to the backyard there and shouted, Mrs. Holden, Mrs. Holden, we want Mikey to play today.
Melbourne Cricket Club, almost a second home for you.
Yeah, it was pretty much a second home. My father registered me at Melbourne from birth.
Your house is about a mile and a half down the road.
2 miles from
Were you
here.
allowed to just make your way here? Or
No. I would come down here with my parents because my parents would come here on a regular basis. My mother, my father, my 2 sisters, my brother, and myself, all of us would come down here. I would spend a lot of time down here.
I've known Mikey a long time. From when I was a youngster. He grew up in this club.
Yeah, I mean, I noticed that the pavilion there, Holdings Pavilion, with the apostrophe very much after the S, which means it's
right, because
for the whole family.
Right, his father was a builder, and he actually built most of that pavilion. And he used to be president of the club at one point, and his mom came down, so he was always here with them.
A few old mates, yeah. I mean, what's the form? Tonight a few guys would come down, they'd play a bit of dominoes, have a barbecue, a few beers.
Well, Monday night is a barbecue chicken night.
Right.
Under that shed there, they do all the barbecuing. You'll find guys playing cards and dominoes. You'll find a lot of guys in the bar having a drink or two. Sarah Richards, Melbourne Cricket Club was a club that toured the rural area of Jamaica on almost every Sunday, unless of course it was during the cricket season when they had games. And we would go down to the backside companies. We used to call them curry goat matches because they would kill a goat for every game and they would eat curry goat for lunch. But they were great games to get your grounding in as a young man because you're playing with senior guys and senior guys around guiding you and helping you.
When I first saw him, as a youngster, he played for me again in President's 11. He bowled some big in-swingers. And I thought that, although he hadn't achieved 5-wicket hauls for Jamaica, he was taken to Australia on a learning process of such, because I thought that the faster wickets he would, and he did. He just sort of matured from there on in.
As often happens, Mikey, the start of a great period came on the back of a pretty horrendous tour to Australia, 1975-76, your first tour.
Yeah, and I can tell you when I got back from that first tour, I told my parents, if that is West Indies cricket, I don't need to be a part of it. It was a horrendous tour for many reasons.
5-1.
The result, yes. I was very upset with the umpiring for 2 because I was just a naive young man, first time playing test match cricket. It wasn't good. It was not great. The spirit within the team was not good. But even so in Arthurs, we were being very competitive. We lost.
I mean, the germ of the side was there. All those who became great cricketers were all there.
Definitely.
Viv
Richards, Gordon Greenwich, Clive Lloyd, Andy Roberts, myself. We were all in that team. This bridge that we were approaching was a real ramshackle bridge that was mostly lumber, pieces of lumber that went over this river. And when the car went over the bridge, it used to make a lot of noise. And this is where I used to wake up and say, yes, we are near to the track. I've been hooked on horses from before I got the double figures.
It's a curious combination, really. It's an exceptionally beautiful racetrack with the background of the hills, but it's pretty rustic. I can't imagine it's changed very much since you first came.
Not a lot. The stands haven't really changed a lot. The first time I came to the racetrack, I went to the stable area because I came down here with my brother's godmother. He came with her because she owned horses, and because I wanted to go where my brother was going, I just jumped in the car and came down here. And I just fell in love with the horses from the very first time I saw them. You're standing beside those big animals, and those days you couldn't really pat them too much, you couldn't touch them because I was so small, they wouldn't allow me to touch them. But just being so close to them, it was great.
How long have you known Mikey?
Oh, too long. Right, from 1971, 72, when he was a schoolboy. He had a big afro in those days. And I told him that he had to go to Australia, he had to cut it off. And he said no, but I got his father to tell me to cut it off, and he did.
And you owned horses together?
And we owned horses together, not for long enough, but he got scared and left the industry.
A good partner to have?
Always is. Nice fella, right? Has been my good friend for years.
Your friend Howard's got a horse running in the 5th race.
Yes, and they say
he
it will
quite
win.
fancies it. So
They say it will win.
We might have a little tickle on that later.
Yeah, I bought a couple of dollars to put on it. Yeah, man, easy. Everything good. Dr. P. Way out there. Good to see you, man. Who need it? Yeah, but the last one lead about each other.
As they now come into the lane, and it's a Western Warrior with that lead. Marlene, my love, now unleashed by Western.
No, Marlene win now. Marlene win. One Isla Low.
Edge away inside the final 16. Marlene, my love, with a clear lead now beginning to open up in the end. Wesley Henry and Marlene, my love, win by more than 3.
That's actually a super. Well, Isla Low, you never disappoint me, but.
I would never pass. I would never mind. I would never disappoint.
What good? And in the women's explosion, the great Michael Hogan.
When I played the game, obviously, cricket was number one. Yeah. But cricket now is work. This is all fun. There's absolutely no pain in this. This is all fun.
Mr. Mikey Holding, what did you think of Marlene, my love's performance?
I thought he might have been in a bit of trouble because she didn't seem to be quickening, and the number 4 horse was traveling so well. But it seems as if she had some staying power as well. So I think that was a good performance.
Thank you so much. We appreciate your time.
My pleasure. Glad to be here.
And there we have it. Legend himself, Mr. Mikey Holding.
It's often said that West Indies came to England and the crowds are often predominantly black crowds, you know, second generation, first generation from the Caribbean, that they felt lifted by the performance of that team through the years. Did you feel that as somebody representing the region?
Not initially, to be honest. I went there, I knew we made them feel happy. I knew that they were proud of the way the West Indies played and proud of the fact that the West Indies won. But I didn't realize to what extent it really meant. Obviously, your team is winning, you're going to be proud, but it meant a bit more than that to them.
What do you think of the West Indies team this year?
Oh, we can murder them. We got them. We can murder them.
When the West Indies lost, they would see the newspaper on their desk. You know, West Indies just got beat. So it just made them feel so good. It made them feel that they were of worth in England, although they were so far away from home.
Who's going to do the murdering?
And I can remember watching Greggy talking to some television station saying,
the West Indians, these guys, if they get on top, they're magnificent cricketers. But if they're down, they grovel. And I intend, with the help of Closey and a few others, to make them grovel.
Tony Greig, being from a South African background, coming from a country of apartheid, using that particular word just did not go down very well.
Oh dear me, because they had a lot of fast bowlers, didn't they? And as a batsman, you start to think about, you know, what did he say that for? Isn't that going to inspire the fast bowlers? Aren't they going to bowl a yard or two faster?
And it's bowled in, so Holding strikes again. And a very disappointed, disenchanted Tony Greig there.
With my background, using the word grovel, I got exactly what I deserved.
Straight away, they got stuck into us in the series, and with that comment, you know, very much in the forefront of their minds.
Really quick one, that. And that's hurt him. And that's somewhere, I think, round about the mark where earlier he let one bounce off him.
Old Trafford, I was not trying to bowl bouncers. The pitch was of such poor quality. It started to open up, cracks were opening up, and once that ball hit the crack, it was taking off.
And I think there's going to be a warning this time from umpire Bill Alley. Enough is enough, he says, and quite rightly so. He's really overdone the short pitches.
I did the very best I could, but boy, they lifted their game against me. And a few of my colleagues didn't enjoy it when I came out to the middle.
One of the defining performances of your career came very early on, didn't it? At the Oval, 1976, 14 wickets.
22 years old.
Didn't know any better.
No, I just ran in and bowled pass.
And he's out, LBW this time. There's a danger man holding.
I wasn't wanging it down, I was just keeping it full. Because the pitch was so slow, there was absolutely no bounce in the pitch. David Steele just kept on pushing that left foot down the pitch, irrespective of where the ball hit on the deck. So I decided to just run up and bowl as full as possible.
And he's bowling. That's a good piece of bowling from Holding.
Just pure pace, getting through batsmen with pure pace and running in, lovely rhythm. Everything was going for Holding that day.
Bowling. There's a quick delivery from Michael Holding.
And he's out, I think. It's on his way, it's caught behind.
It's tremendous. He swung the ball around, and that's what he did when he was younger, when I first saw him.
And he's bowled too, and Holding's done it surely this time. And that has really got to be the end of England here in this 5th Test match.
I motivated them. There's absolutely no doubt about that. I motivated the West Indies.
Holding to Willis. And that's out, and it's LBW, and it's all over. Holding takes the wicket, overcome the crowd, and the West Indian fielders sprinting into the pavilion to avoid getting mobbed by their admirers.
Story goes that I got the 14 wickets on that pitch because people like Andy and Van Buren, who were seasoned cricketers, knew the pitch and said, nah, we won the series already, I'll take it easy.
Michael Holding has really been the West Indian hero here today.
People are saying, oh, we have run out of talent. West Indies cannot run out of talent. I'll probably come and turn around about here and take a few steps, trot into where the actual marker was and then start running.
Oh, he's bowling. Beautiful ball.
Well, it looked pretty good. When I seen the film, they were all jumping up and down, all the West Indies players.